but like no mention of the prerequisite crime, no mention of the campaign finance laws that he allegedly broke, or that, yeah, that's still alleged because, or no, Cohen was found guilty, so no mention of the campaign finance laws that he broke, and we're gonna restart. I'm edging you. All right. This is what Donald Trump was just found guilty of. Low conviction. It's been a little bit since I read about it. These are just the notes that I took about it when I was reading about it, which was probably, oh God, I don't even know. It was a little bit ago. So, background. This is the background part. Stormy Daniels, Stephanie Clifford, porn star in New York, said to have had an affair with Donald Trump. Karen McDougal, a model, said to have had a 9-month-long affair with Donald Trump. David Pecker, American media CEO. Gina Rodriguez, Stormy Daniels' agent. Michael Cohen, Donald Trump's lawyer. Cyrus Vance Jr., a Manhattan district attorney, pre-2021. Alvin Bragg, the Manhattan district attorney post-2021. And Dylan Howard, National Enquirer editor-in-chief. Timeline. 2006. 2006. Donald Trump and Stormy Daniels reportedly have an affair. Okay? 2011. Stormy Daniels shops the story around to different tabloids. 2011. It gets published to The Dirty, then taken down at the request of the Trump Organization and Cohen. 2015. As Trump begins to gear up for his presidential bid, Daniels again attempts to sell the story of their affair. A $13,000 NDA is negotiated between Daniels and Cohen by Dylan Howard. Trump denies knowing about any of these payments in 2018. Why does it say YouTube is not receiving enough video to... My ass. Okay. Then Trump wrote several checks totaling $42,000 to Cohen. The checks reimbursed him for a non-disclosure agreement and covered the cost for Cohen to manipulate online pools to boost Trump's status. The $18,000 paid to Cohen was doubled to offset taxes, and $60,000 was added. These payments were made throughout 2017 during the first year of Trump's presidency. The payments made to Cohen were declared as legal expenses. 9 monthly checks from Trump to Cohen, dated from April to December 2017, exist as evidence. 2018, Cohen pleads guilty on counts to tax evasion, making false statements to a federally insured bank, and campaign finance violations in relation to the payment, as well as another payment to Karen McDougal. Cohen says he acts at the direction of Donald Trump. 2019, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office then issued a subpoena for Donald Trump, or for the Trump Organization in August. Well, obviously in August, it says 8. Then, Trump's lawyers sue Vance to block the subpoena, citing Trump's immunity from criminal inquiries as the President of the United States. In Trump v. Vance, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled 7-2 in favor of Vance, allowing the subpoena to continue. Wow. Imagine the Supreme Court ruling that Donald Trump is subject to criminal investigation as president. That's crazy. 3:30. The Manhattan grand jury vote to indict Donald Trump. The indictment charged Trump with 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in the first degree with intent to defraud and intent to commit another crime or aid to conceal the commission thereof, in violation of New York penal law, however you read this. Each count is related to a specific business document and having a date ranging from February 14th to December 5th, 2017. 11 invoices from Michael Cohen, 9 for general ledger entries for Donald Trump, 9 checks from Donald Trump, 3 general ledger entries for Donald Trump revocable trust, revocable trust. 2 checks for Donald Trump revocable trust. This is the allegedly falsified documents may relate to Trump's payments to Stormy Daniels as hush money. The payments were listed as in the business records as a legal expense payable to Michael Cohen, whereas the indictment alleges that they were actually to reimburse Cohen for the earlier allegedly illicit payments to Stormy Daniels. The allegedly falsified documents are related to Cohen's misfiling on tax documents or the violation of the Federal Election Campaign Act, in which he paid $13,000 to Stormy Daniels and arranged for a publishing company, AMI, to pay $30,000 to a doorman to conceal the story about Trump having a child out of wedlock, and $15,000 to model Karen McDougal for her story in exchange for the women agreeing not to go public with allegations that they had an affair with Donald Trump. Okay. We got that? The payments to Daniels isn't the only quote-unquote hush money payments that was made during Trump's 2016 campaign, though it is the only one that is directly at issue in the criminal case. American media, AMI, which publishes the National Enquirer, also allegedly paid a doorman $30,000 to conceal a story about Trump having a child out of wedlock, even though it was determined to be false, and paid Karen McDougal $15,000 to, quote, catch and kill her allegations of an affair with Donald Trump. David Pecker discussed the payments with Donald Trump and Cohen, prosecutors allege, and had a general agreement with them to hide negative stories during the campaign, but Trump did not reimburse either of those payments. During the 2016 election, Cohen paid $13,000 to adult film actress Stephanie Clifford, known as Stormy Daniels, and arranged for a public company to pay $15,000 to model Karen McDougal for her story in exchange for the women agreeing to not go public with the allegations that they had an affair with Donald Trump. Prosecutors in Cohen's 2018 case said that the purpose of the hush money payments was to influence the 2016 election and treated them as campaign contributions, which are subject to restrictions under the Federal Election Campaign Act. Cohen's payments to Clifford exceeded the $2,700 limit on personal contributions to a single candidate for an election, and the payment he helped arrange for McDougal flouted the ban on corporations contributing directly to campaigns. So basically, the hush money payments that were being paid to McDougal and to Stormy Daniels were classified as election campaign contributions because they were determined to, like, the purpose was to be influential to the election. And Trump caused these business records to be falsified. Trump had done this with the intent to conceal another crime, which is Cohen's violation of the Federal Election Campaign Act or incorrect tax filings. You don't need... This was one of the things that was really drilled into my head, is that the jury did not need to agree what the prerequisite crime was in order to agree that they falsified business records to cover up that prerequisite crime. So whether or not they want to believe that it was either a violation of the Federal Election Campaign Act or just general incorrect tax filings, as long as the falsification of the business records was done to cover up either of those crimes, Donald Trump could still be found guilty of falsifying these business records with the intent to hide another crime. But you didn't have to agree on what that other crime was. The altering of documents are misdemeanor charges, but they were done in the service of breaking another law. The jury did not need to, they did not need to agree on which law he intended to violate, just that he intended to violate a law. And then alleged tax issues, as the payments to Cohen were falsely characterized as income rather than payments. And then this is the stupid Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office in New York, where the spokesperson said that they were like trumped up charges, but he had no part in the prosecution of that case. So that's what Donald Trump got found guilty of. Election interference in a way, because he violated election campaign finance laws. I don't focus on this case as much just because when it's juxtaposed with his attempt on our American democracy, it's not that big of a deal. But sometimes, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, you got to cover what Donald Trump has been found guilty of by a jury of his peers and is now a convicted felon for. So that's what that was. The fuck out about it. We're going to read it and maybe flip the fuck out about it. I said that again because I just started recording. Okay. Dr. Phil McGraw, in relation to Donald Trump's sentencing, says, in less than 2 weeks, Donald Trump will take the oath of becoming America's 47th president. But in less than 24 hours, he'll be a convicted felon. But before the pundits on far left start gloating, and before the ones on the far right start raging, let me put everything into perspective and explain this weird ruling because the headlines don't tell half the story. The New York Supreme Court Justice Juan Merchan, a name everyone in the civilized world now knows, convicted President-elect Donald Trump of 34 felonies concerning the legal conduct of paying quote-unquote hush money. Justice Merchan announced tomorrow, January 10th, that he will not put Trump in jail or on probation or even fine him. Neither will he dismiss the quote-unquote trumped-up case. He will instead impose a sentence of unconditional discharge. Here's the relevant part in New York law. Or here is the New York law and the relevant part. My bad. Got ahead of myself. People say that getting into politics and people that get into politics and immediately gravitate towards Trump, in my mind, were always adjacent to the right in the first place in some way. Yeah, that's true. But I think most people, this is going to sound really douchey, but I think most people who are like kind of uninformed are generally just going to gravitate to the right because they're really good at like simplifying their ideas down because their ideas are really simple. New York penal law. When the court imposes a sentence of unconditional discharge, the defendant shall be released with respect to the conviction for which a sentence is imposed without imprisonment, fine, or probation supervision. A sentence of unconditional discharge is for all purposes a final judgment of conviction. At the trial court level is a conviction Merchan seems desperate to assign to President-elect, so he is labeled a felon. But in his zeal, he may have handed President-elect a golden ticket. If Merchan had dismissed the case, Trump would have had no right to appeal and clear his name, and it would have been forever left hanging. Now, I'm no lawyer. I don't mean to brag, but I'm not. Early in my career... Okay, whatever. Here's what they tell me. He goes free, but he has been convicted, can't appeal, and most legal experts do believe he will do so successfully. I certainly do not believe Judge Merchan is intending to help Trump. If he dismissed the case, it might feel like a tacit admission that the case was much ado about nothing. After all, judges just don't like to admit mistakes. Keep in mind, I'm pretty sure the judge has almost nothing to... The judge isn't the one that found him guilty, and the judge isn't the one that indicted him. He got indicted. He was ruled that there was probable cause by a grand jury in Manhattan, and then a jury of his peers found him guilty. I don't know why we're focusing super hard on the judge when the judge has almost nothing to do with this. You may be thinking, how can paying hush money be legal? Paying hush money does sound bad. It does sound shady, and maybe in some cases, but in most cases, it's just semantics. The behavior is actually a pattern of practice in everyday business. Okay, so here's my guess for this post, is that he's not actually going to go into what Donald Trump was accused of, and he's trying to dumb it down to be hush money, and then he's going to say that hush money isn't always illegal, and then he's never going to get into actual details of what Donald Trump did. That's my guess. Okay, so just, money for an NDA, he's saying, is hush money. Lose your job, a tech company, and I'll go back and read it just so I'm not accused of, like, cutting shit out. If you slip up and fall in the produce section of your local grocer, file a civil suit, and reach a settlement, it will be confidential. You will be required to sign an NDA and prohibited from disclosing the terms of the settlement. Guess what? You just accepted hush money. Divorce settlement, confidential, hush money. Hush money. Lose your job at a tech company and collect servants, you will no doubt sign a general release and an NDA, hush money. Who I greatly respect, opined about prosecutor Alvin Bragg's logic trail. paying hush money is legal, all right. But if you don't call it that in your financial records and you're running for office, it's a crime. You don't have to announce it, but if you lie on your checkbook, it's a crime. Love the sarcasm. Many call this lawfare. It truly is weaponizing the legal system for political reasons. As taxpayers, we should all be outraged at the squandering of our money and the self-serving political game. Just the increased security in this case is estimated to cost about $50,000 per day for weeks on end. Was this just expensive, time-consuming showboating? You decide. 96% of felony cases and 99% of misdemeanors in New York State are pled out. Oh yeah, pled out. But Donald Trump, who draws unprecedented media coverage, but not Donald Trump, who draws unprecedented legal coverage. Oh my God, I'm like fucking slipping all over my words. Manhattan's crime rate languishes at a pathetic 29.8% statewide. Less than 5% of felony arrests lead to imprisonment, and only 3% in Manhattan. But sure, throw time, man-hours, and millions on this media spectacle. Why not? Hardworking Americans are picking up the bill. Okay. This is a dumb fuck. This is like this is such a stupid post. Our legal system doesn't work by just saying, hey, Donald Trump, you paid hush money, so you're going to jail. That's not hush money is not even the charge. He's not being charged with paying. He's not being charged with paying someone hush money. Like you said, that's a completely legal thing. So why are you claiming that someone's going after him for a hush money charge that is completely legal? Like, this doesn't even, make sense. And then this, kind of accurately explains one of the things that it could have been, in that they were, falsifying the business records, like the charge says. And then he just says, oh, I love the sarcasm, this is lawfare. But, no mention of the prerequisite crime, no mention of the campaign finance laws that he allegedly broke, or that's still alleged because, or no, Cohen was found guilty, so no mention of the campaign finance laws that he broke, and the reason that this is illegal being that they falsified business records to cover that up. You didn't actually go into details about anything that he did wrong. This is just pulling the wool over people's eyes. And he doesn't go into the details about any of the charges. It's pointless. That's so stupid.